Hey, everybody. Just to let you know, I am not doing this from a script. I'm doing this all live. I have nothing prepared. And I want to do it this way so you can actually see the kind of real time workflow. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to get an explosion in. So we've got, if we've completed everything so far, we've got our ship and we've got UFOs. There's no collision. We're not going to worry about collision in this tutorial either. We're just going to worry about here's the workflow for if we want to create a new object factory thing. First of all, we'll probably want to slow these UFOs down. But what we want to do is we're working towards let our player shoot a UFO and let's destroy it. Before we can do that, though, let's get an explosion scene created. And let's just work on how we're going to spawn an explosion, because that's one of the things we're going to do. So here we go. So, okay, I want to get an explosion. So whenever something blows up, I can have multiple explosions. This is going to be something created by the object factory, but we need at least the scene for an explosion to be built. So let's build that. So I'm going to make a new scene. And let me think about this for the explosion scene, what the root node has to be. There's no collision, so I don't need any area 2D on explosion. It's basically just an animated sprite. And that's it. The animated sprite's going to play, and then the explosion's going that scene will get destroyed once the animation completes. So we can probably just use an animated sprite 2D for this thing. So let me get an animated sprite 2D, and I'm going to rename it to explosion. And I'm going to save. I'm going to put it in the scenes folder. I'm going to save it. Okay, there we go. I'm going to attach a script because I know I'm going to need one. Create. Just empty, empty, empty. Looks good. Not that I had to create the script right then. I'm going to go back to 2D. I'm getting a warning here, and that's because I don't have any sprite frames. So let's get our sprite set up. Go to animation. Let's go to sprite frames and pick new sprite frames. Click on this. And now let's get our explosion here. So we can have, there's only going to be one animation, so I could just leave the default. That's fine. In fact, let's just leave it as default. You can rename it if you want, but I'm just going to do this. From my explosions, let's just drag in the explosions.png from our assets and let it go. Nope, we can't do that. That's not how I do it. Delete. We got to use the waffle add frames from sprite sheet. So we have to navigate to our assets. I'm going to go to my sprites and explosion.png. Oosh. Now I'm going to have to slice this thing up. Let's see if it works by rows and columns. So it looks like horizontally there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's bump that up to 8, and hopefully 8, 2, 4, 6, yeah, 8 by 8. Okay, good. And then just check it. That looks pretty good. And we are going to add all of them. So I'm going to try to do it like this. We have to do them in order. This is a crazy explosion. This is absolutely insane, but it's kind of fun. So there might be a better way of doing this, but I'm just going to go row by row. I think that's how it's organized. I don't know. Like I said, I'm doing this live. Holy moly, 64, 63, because the first one's at 0. That's 64 frames. That's insanity. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know about the size, but let's see what happens if I play it 5 frames per second. Let's see what happens. That's a little slow. Let's go a little bit faster. Let's try like 16 so we can see it. Wow, that's a good explosion. But we want to time it because maybe even faster. And if another thing we could do, since there's so many frames, is we could have just maybe skipped a frame instead of adding all 64 of these things in. I mean, you can play around with it. We can speed it up though too. So I'm just going to keep bumping this thing up until it happens a little bit faster. Let's go 32 frames per second. See how that works. Boom, boom. It's really long. Maybe 64. Let's see what 64 does. That's really fast. I don't know if I can. Okay. That's the most realistic with our really pixel spaceships and asteroids. This explosion's like out of this world. Let's go. I'm going to go 64 and just see how that works. We definitely don't need it to loop though. We don't want it looping. So we just want it to play once and then that's it. And then we're going to destroy it. Okay, good. That looks good. Save. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to our explosion. I'm going to go to node. Oof, there it is. And I want animation finished. I'm going to connect that and just double click this or connect it. And this is why I added the script, because we have to add this. Animation finished is the signal. We're going to connect it to our explosion script, and the method will be called on animation finished connect. And this will jump me to that script. And all we need to do here is when the animation finishes it, we are going to destroy it. So this is one of those things where the animation comes on, it plays, it's gone. And so we kind of just constantly are creating these things and destroying them. Okay, that's it. I think that's the whole scene. I don't think there's anything else that happens. Oh, the other thing I should probably look at here. We want this to default just auto play on load. So make sure your animation has auto play on load, because when we create it, we don't want to have to manually start it. It'll just play, and when it finishes, it'll destroy itself. And there's an explosion. Okay, good. I've got that done. Now we're going to hop over to our object factory script. I'm going to hop over to this script, and because the object factory is what's going to create anything you want to instantiate, that's the job of the object factory. This way it gets created in our game scene. So I'm not going to go to the signal. I'm going to start right here. And this is where, especially with the object factory, this is really nice how when you're looking at your scripts, you get these methods here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to jump. I'm not going to worry about, well, we can do this. We can we know we're going to need a scene. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go constant and then call it something like explosion scene equals, and then I'm going to go, you can type it, but just there, it is nice when you can just go to your scenes. We want to grab the T scene and you hold it. I think you hit control and you let go, and it'll just paste the reference to the scene. So the object factory is going to take care of all instantiation. So there's my explosion scene. We'll have to come back and connect the signal. We're going to make a signal. So whenever you want an explosion, we're just going to call it. But let's just see how we're going to build it. This is going to be very similar to creating a bullet. So I'm going to put it right between, because this function, this create UFO, is so long. I like to have a reference. So I'm just going to build it here. And so the function is going to look something like this. Func factory. Again, I like to put factory. It's nice that this is what the factory is going to make. And we want to tell the factory to create an explosion. Explosion. Okay. Now we got to think, what does the explosion need to know? So if we're going to create an explosion, what does the factory need to know to get it on the screen at the right place and all that? With our bullet, we had to know where to start the bullet, what direction the bullet was going to go, what speed it was going to go. Okay. So, and that all went into setting it up. With the explosion, we're kind of thinking, okay, what do we need to know? The only thing we need to know here is where it's going to go. So we need a position. So you don't have to call these zpos zdir. This is just the way I name these parameters. And I try to be consistent so I can just look and I know we need to know the position where, if I need an explosion, where do you want it? At this position. Okay, good. Here you go. We put the explosion on screen and it's done. Okay. And so here we go. Now we're going to do this. So I'm going to create a variable that represents this explosion. Just so I'm going to create one. Why am I having a hard time spelling this? Explosion. And that's going to equal the explosion scene. Use that autocomplete. Dot instantiate. Autocomplete. Now to initialize it. Now you can get away with not having an initialize function. Like we could just say this explosion dot position equals zpos, and that's fine. Rather than we could add an initialize function to our explosion, but you can, if you just have a couple things. I mean, we could have done it up here. just set them up. But I like making an initialize in case you have to like do any conversions or there's any other additional work. We want the object factory to look as clean as possible, and we want to let our scene take care of how it goes. So I'm going to be consistent with how I did it. And I'm just going to say this explosion dot initialize, and I'm just going to pass it the position. Okay. Now this is going to break because our explosion scene doesn't have an initialize function. So let's go to our explosion scene and let's give it an initialize, which I'm going to put above the animation finish just because func initialize, and initialize needs a Z position, which is a vector 2. And that's a void. Okay, and so all this is going to do is set the position equal to zpos, and that's it. So it's kind of what am I get? Cannot vector 2, vector 2. So it's basically doing it's. But at least I know when I initialize an explosion, this is what's being set. All right, back to the object factory. So that will work like that, and now all we have to do is add child this explosion, and we say true. Okay, good. So we can actually test this by calling it on the object factory directly. But let's get a signal created. So this is kind of usually the first step I do is if I'm going to do something, I kind of start with the object factory and go, okay, this is how one gets created. Now we're going to create it when the collision happens. So a signal is going to be the best way. And so the signal is going to have to call, or we're going to have to connect something up here, and it's going to have to pass the position. So we do a lot of position passing here, which can be a little bit crazy. So let's head. We don't have the signal made yet. So let's go make the signal. And so I'm just going to go here. I'm going to put it, doesn't really matter. I can put it here. So I'll do a signal and I'll call it create explosion. And then, so that's just the name of the signal. Having a function that calls the signal, again, the reason why we like it is because signals, you don't define the parameters. You could pass a signal any parameter, but when you're coding it, it won't give you that autocomplete and it won't let you know what's expecting. A function will. So it seems kind of ridiculous to have a function which just basically passes it off in the signal emit. But the reason we do it is so we can get autocomplete. So it'll tell us what parameters are required. So the next function is just to write a function, and I always call mine emit for my signals, emit. And what are we going to emit? We're going to emit the create explosion signal, which takes, here's where we set up the parameters. Again, it's this parameter over and over again. It doesn't return any value. All it does is it uses the signal, create explosion, and it passes that parameter along. Like I said, lots of parameter. Emit dot emit, and then we pass the parameter. So this way, whenever we want to create an explosion, we just say the signal manager dot emit create explosion, pass it a position. This is going to broadcast the signal, and now we need something to listen for the signal. We head back to our object factory, and now we connect. We listen to the signal here. The object factory is going to listen for the create explosion dot connect. We're going to connect to the signal, and we're just going to pass it off to our factory create explosion. And here it's just the name of the function. So we're not calling it, we're just saying this is the name of the function that is going to be connected. So let me minimize this a little bit so we can see it. There it is. So we're just saying the name of the function. So whenever it hears the create explosion signal, it's just going to take it and whatever information it has, and where is it? Here it is. It's just going to pass it here, and now we have a signal. So now we're set up. So our signal manager is set up, our object factory is set up. And so now if I want an explosion, I can just emit the signal. And so we're going to do that ultimately in a collision, but in this video, I just wanted to focus on just the workflow of how you start with the object factory, you set up a signal, and now wherever you want to create an explosion, you just call it. So let's go to our game scene, go to our script, and I'm just going to add should I add a ready function? I kind of want a little, no, I'll do it in the ready function. It's the easiest. I'm going to do this simple. So when the scene becomes ready, here we go. I'm just going to do a test. I can just say signal manager and then dot, and it should autocomplete. Now, we don't want the signal because you can just call the signal and pass it information and that'll work. But here's why it's bad. If I just use the signal, notice the icon, this is the name of the signal in Signal Manager, and this is the name of the function. See, if I just do it like this, if I just say create explosion, and I say, here's a parameter, I don't get any help. It'll work if I actually put a position here, like vector2, like 100, 100. This will work, but I have to know what the parameters are. And so while it will work, I think it'll work. Create explosion is not a function. Oh, emit. So we're manually emitting the signal. But, and let me show you again. I'm going to cut this out. It won't give me autocomplete. The emit won't tell me. It's just like, I don't know, pass it some information. And so, but if I put this in here, it should work. Let's see if it does. Let me just run this. Yeah, and there's my explosion, 100, 100. So it does work, but I don't get that help. By using the function like this, by saying signal manager dot, and I use the function emit create explosion. Now I do that, of course it doesn't show up, and I do this. Now it says, hey, you need a position. So it's a little bit more helpful. And so now I just say vector2, 100, 100. And again, this will just create an explosion when the scene becomes ready. I hit run, and boom, there's my explosion. And if I want to create a couple of them, let's see what happens here. Create one at 100, let's put one at 200, and one at 300. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there's 3 explosions, boom, all at once. And so now I have a way of, whenever I want to create an explosion, because Signal Manager is global, I can do it anywhere at any time. I just pass it a position. All right, that's it for the tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. Next time, I promise we'll blow up a UFO, but one thing at a time.